All right, check 1 2 1 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Someday I'll Have a Podcast. My name is Ren. I am your host, as always, and I bet this time you could probably hear me breathing a lot. I've graduated from vocal therapy, but my voice still gets lost often, and I'm doing my best to take care of it, which means taking a lot more deep breaths when I speak. But you don't care about that. You're here to listen to what I have to say about overconsumption around the holidays. As we approach this holiday season, for me and my family, things are going to be a little bit different. And honestly, I'm grateful for that because I also feel like it's going to change the way that we are consuming, the way that we're spending money, the way that we are experiencing this time of year. And I think that overall could really be a good thing. It can be very beneficial. Let me map this out for you a little bit. I want to talk about overconsumption, specifically around this holiday season. And then I want to talk about ways that we can sort of curb that. What is the phrase? I just want to talk about a few ways that we can potentially fix that and help in this giant worldly dilemma, crisis that we have, not only in this country, but around the world. I feel like when people say the holidays, they often just mean Christmas, but there are a lot of holidays around this time of year. That includes Thanksgiving, not even just the religious holidays. It also includes New Year's, as well as Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And I mean, there's just holidays galore. And I think that even like we tend to overconsume around Thanksgiving time. And by overconsume, I mean purchase things through the stores, not like eat too much, which we probably do too. But I more so mean we buy a lot of things, and that isn't always necessary, and it isn't always helpful to you or your friends or your family. So obviously 2023 has been a different year than 2022, but I have a couple of statistics from last year, and I want to talk about them a little bit. One, it said that according to Adobe Analytics, I don't know exactly where they get their information, but that's my source here right now. Consumers spent almost $215 billion just in online sales during the holiday season from like October to December. That was an increase of 3.5% since the last year. And that's even with the inflation. People have been complaining about inflation since forever. But if we want to talk recent years, since, Biden came into presidency, and I'm not here to get political, I'm strictly talking about our issue with consumption. But even with inflation and prices rising and wages not keeping up, there's been an increase in purchases, in online purchases, in Amazon, in retail stores, online specifically. That's what that statistic was from. But for people gifting for the holidays, people buying decorations, and it's a lot. I also feel like I must address the fact that maximalism isn't healthy, while also neither minimalism isn't always healthy either. So I think the idea of finding a happy medium is something that we need to work on as a team, as a country. But typically, often when you get a lot of new items into the home, whether it's gifts or, purchasing, especially around this time of year, you kind of go through the things that you used to have and you push them out of the home, right? So let's say I got 3 new shirts for Christmas, and then I'm like, I'm not wearing all these other shirts, and I'm so excited to wear these new ones. Let me just toss them in a bag and bring them to Goodwill. I feel like it's really easy for us to think that that's the best case scenario, buy new and sending out the old things, but a lot of times that is not effective. And I say that because another statistic is that only about 20% of donated goods in the U.S. actually end up in the retail shops, such as Goodwill, such as Salvation Army, etc. And that's according to the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Again, I want to say that was from the 2022 report. So again, we're obviously in a different year. Things may change, but the amount of things that we are sending out of the house, it's not ending up where we think it is. Oftentimes it ends up in landfills, and if not, it's being sent to underdeveloped countries, which also isn't the greatest thing because in fact, if we're sending textiles their way, oftentimes that hurts the local textile industry and therefore changes the entire local economy. So while we think we could be helping out, say Guatemala, that's not always the case because then their textile mills and factories and things like that, if we're sending billions of pounds, which happens to other countries, then they may not have a need for creating their own textiles, which then affects their local economy. And I mean, just look at the people around you. Look at yourself. Take this as a moment of reflection. Look at yourself. I'm while I'm speaking about this, thinking about all the money I've already spent on brand new items for my family and friends, and I'm like, that sucks, honestly, because we want to make things special and we want to gift to people that we love and show them we care about them, but that's not always necessary and it isn't always effective. But take this as a moment of reflection on yourself and your family and your friends and just how much extra you are purchasing, you are ordering online, you are consuming during the holiday seasons. Whatever that looks like to you, but really consider it. Track your bank statements, track your credit card bill. How much more are you purchasing just on things that are going to end up in someone's house? You know what I mean? And so obviously, I said that consumption is still increasing even with inflation. And I think it's worth taking a look at what we're spending and remind us to tone it down, especially if our incomes are not able to keep up. All right, so taking it big picture, buying new is not always necessary. I actually sell things on the side as a little side hustle. I sell things online, and oftentimes I sell things that are brand new with tags. So I definitely want to suggest that if you can, look at secondhand resale shops, secondhand online shops, and see if you could find what you want, even still new, at a discounted price. I also feel like we as consumers don't always do a great job of, checking up on brands. And could definitely be controversial because I feel like a lot of people are like, will buy from anyone no matter what. But looking into like the ethics of companies, I feel like a lot of times we just blindly buy. But what if we don't actually support the things that the company's doing? Or what if we're not realizing that we're putting money into something that is like funding something really negative like war. You know what I mean? And I think that's another reason it's like shopping mindfully is something to consider during the holidays, checking up on brands and just doing a little digging, doing a little research on who you really are supporting when you're buying from big businesses and big companies. I definitely think that's worth the double check. There are ways to shop mindfully and effectively and excitingly without buying, every item you need from Amazon. And on the flip side of that, giving away your old items to any random thrift store down the street also isn't always effective or necessary. And I'm not saying it's better to throw everything in the garbage by any means. Believe me, that is not what I'm saying. But I definitely think that if we can reframe the way that we are consuming and the items that we are hanging onto and having in our homes and even letting into our homes in regards to gifting and things like that, I think that it's worth the double check and looking it over to kind of take a look at what our carbon footprint is on the world. And saying all that, I want to give some alternative options and ideas to you as the listener of how you can still show your family and friends that you love them and care about them and give them something exciting while also not necessarily buying things that may or may not be used or eventually end up in a landfill. So it is a cliche, but it really is the thought that counts. And so I think that I love getting creative around this time of year, and that's really fun for me. So my first recommendation is going to be, instead of doing like a traditional Secret Santa, do a thrifted white elephant sort of thing. Find something cool in secondhand piece. Find some cool secondhand pieces and share those with your friends, whether that be through like ThreadUp, you can still find items new with tags, and they can still be, it's a little more curated. You could go to cool vintage shops, so then you're also supporting local small businesses. Purchasing things from thrift stores that you wouldn't just be able to find on any random shelf in Target this year, just things that are really unique, and share those with your friends. There is nothing like a good treasure hunt, if you ask me. So that's one way to get creative. Like, you play a game, and whoever ends up with that gift, you could be very gender neutral, age in specific. Like, you can get creative that way, and it's fun. It's a little more. It's a little different than just getting something off of a wish list. And then my other huge recommendation is going to be, take your people on experiences. This could be a concert ticket, a sporting event. One time I took my sister to high tea. You could do a spa day. Any way that you can have quality time with the people that you love. Often that means more than any tangible gift anyway. And so that also allows you to get creative. Think about the things that they like to do. Think about something that they would like to see. It's so cheesy, but I am always been a big fan of like coupon books. Like literally like 2 years ago or something, I made my mom little like quality time coupon things where it would be like, one movie night where I come over and you pick the movie and we just like hang out, just because it's like encouraging us to spend time together. Or like you pick a night and dinner's on me. We just go out and try somewhere new and just hang out and enjoy food together. Like, these are wonderful ways to engage in fellowship while also and still treating the people you love to something, right? But without needing them to unwrap 50 gifts with non-recyclable wrapping paper. So these are all fun ideas and that you could do to still show people that you love them and share the holiday spirit. Also, I feel like oftentimes I hear people say things along the lines of like, what does it matter if I'm doing this? Like, I'm one person out of billions of people who might switch to getting like a secondhand gift or whatever. But that's literally making yourself so small. You're really dumbing it down and making any individual act of kindness or any individual thing or person so insignificant. And I personally don't see it that way. I think that, kind of like the butterfly effect, every one of us is significant. All the actions that we do and put out into the world are significant. And if it's saving one item from ending up in the landfill, or even showing your loved one time that you're willing to give your time to them instead of just mindless money, I think that really says something, and that is impactful. Is impactful a word? I heard one time that it's not. It's full of impact. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth considering fun ways to get creative and not consuming more than is necessary. Even with inflation, we are projected to be spending even more money on the holidays than last year, whether that's gifts or decorations or food or whatnot. Those are the predictions for the United States economy. And so with that being said, maybe take that as a reminder and to reflect in on yourself and just kind of see what you're up to and if it makes sense for you to be doing that even with these changing times. Overall, I've been full of the holiday spirit. I also have been very emotional. The holidays are silly. They do those kinds of things to us. But I think that really, more than anything, what I've learned this year is that quality time is such a valuable gift. And with my friends and family that have been giving that to me, like, I am just overjoyed. I think it's definitely worth something to be giving things like that this holiday season, no matter what you celebrate, whether it's Christmas or something else, or even spending the new year, bringing in the new year with people that you love and giving your time to them and, just engaging in true deep connection. I think those things are very, very important. Like always, this is like an encouragement. I want to share my words of encouragement to anyone who clicks on this. Again, I believe that if you clicked on this and you're hearing this, it's you're kind of meant to hear it. So to finish off this fun little podcast, I am going to tell you a song that's been on my on repeat playlist on Spotify. I did just get my Spotify Wrapped, but I'll be reacting to that in a vlog that you'll see on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do that. But my on repeat tells me that lately I've been listening to, I'll mix it up. I'm going to recommend that you listen to Stick Season by Noah Kahan. Noah Kahan has been nominated for a Grammy for Best New Artist for 2024. And I think he's great. I think he really is a wonderful artist, and it's just really, really meaningful songs that really make you feel something. There is a lot of great nominees for that Grammy Award, including Fred again, so this should be interesting. But my recommendation is going to be Stick Season by Noah Kahan. You could stream that. I'll have the link in the description to the Spotify song and anywhere else that you stream your music. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Doing things is hard, you guys. Seriously, that's what I've been feeling today and lately. But I'm pushing myself to do it because I'm sick of these some days. Someday I'll have a podcast is what I used to say. And so I just started doing it. Make your someday today. Thank you once again.